Hello, my name is Sip Mendez. Welcome to Sip's Techie Tips. And this channel is about a lot of things. Sometimes it's about keyboards. Sometimes it's about the World Panda Mini. Sometimes it's about the Alesis V49. Sometimes it's about drones. And what it's really about is things that I figured out. And when I figure out something, I like to pass that information along. And for a long time I've been repairing sewing machines, and I had one lately that gave me a lot of trouble because I didn't know how to set the timing on it. So this video is about setting the timing on a Bernina Record model 830. So if you're interested, keep watching, and I'll show you how I did it. I purchased this Bernina model 830 Record at a thrift store, and I paid less than $30 for it. And it's a good heavy-duty machine, cast iron chassis, all metal parts, some plastic, mostly Bakelite, which is that really hard, flaky plastic. And I thought it was going to be a really good machine, but then I realized it didn't sew very well. It dropped stitches, especially when it did zigzag. Here's an example of the waistband that was sewn on this machine, and you can see the zigzag stitching, how many stitches were missed or dropped, and it was doing a very bad job of it. Let me show you inside the machine what I found. Accessing the bobbin is quite simple. You can just lower this. There's a little latch here that allows you to remove the bobbin. This area in here gets very, very dusty. It picks up a lot of lint and threads. To release the rest of the assembly, or the shuttle I think they call it, there's a little clip here, and you can lower this. And then this part comes out. Right up here, this is the hook, and there was a little small part broken off the very tip of it. And I went ahead and sharpened it. One side is flat, and I tried to keep it flat, and the other facets can be sharpened. And so I sharpened it again, and that made the hook a little bit shorter, maybe a 32nd of an inch, maybe a 16th of an inch. And I think that affected the timing. But again, the timing I think was already off. And the reason I'm making this video is because I could not find anywhere in any of the videos how to adjust the timing on this machine. Most of the machines have a shaft that runs from one end to the other end and turns this part here and turns that. And this machine is different. To access the timing mechanism, it's best to remove the foot, and if you're really thinking about safety, it's also a good idea to remove the needle. Okay, and so we'll get those two things out of the way. To access the rest of this mechanism is quite simple. There's a little latch here. You touch it, and you can access the rest of the mechanism. And this area builds up a lot of lint. And so while you got it open, it's always a good idea. Take a brush. Toothbrush works good for me. And I like to clean it out. Here, under the feed dogs, that needs to be cleaned. And even between them. This plate here, you can see a little bit of lint there. That needs to be cleaned away. The timing is when this hook meet the needle. And by meet the needle, I mean it positions itself directly behind the needle. And the hook is going to meet the eye of the needle, and it's about right there. It looks like about 3 millimeters. It should be somewhere around 2.5, but it can vary a millimeter or two up or down. And that's where it grabs the thread off the back side of the needle from where we're looking. If you ever look at needles carefully, you'll notice that there is a groove, and this groove is facing the camera. The back side of the needle is smooth, and that's where the hook catches the thread. And right there, it would catch the thread. It would bring it all the way down to the bottom. It would come back and release the thread to go back up. So to me, it looks like the hook is a little bit high. This machine is a little bit different than other machines. As this goes up and down, and I'm going to hold this in so it doesn't fall out, this rod runs back and forth. Okay, and there is a lever down here that runs from here on back, and that is what the mechanism that drives this assembly. It's this rod. To change the timing, all you have to do is loosen this screw clamp and then rotate this to the right position. When you go to make your adjustments, make sure the stitch width is set to 0, not to 4, because that will make the needle go from side to side. We want it to go straight up and down. To adjust the timing, you first position the needle where it needs to be. This is approximately where it's meeting the needle now. Okay, and it looks like it's at about 4 millimeters, so it's off slightly. And I'm going to adjust it a little closer. And what you do is you loosen this screw, which loosens the clamp. Now I'm going to try to keep this stationary, and I am going to adjust, well, I'm going to bring the needle up a little higher to where I think it should be. And now there's a gap between the hook and the needle. I'm going to rotate this assembly a little bit closer to it, and that looks like where it should be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and retighten this screw, and I'm going to try not to over tighten it. I don't think it needs much. And then I'm going to rotate it a full turn, a full cycle, and it's going to go all the way back, and it's going to again approach the needle, and there it is, and there it is, right about 2 millimeters. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Okay. So now I can go ahead and finish cleaning here. Blow it out a little bit. There seems to be some debris in here. Get that out of there. Get all the debris. Right now would also be a good time to lubricate it and just put a drop of oil in that race where where it moves, and clean all of the lint from around this assembly. This clips up and makes a nice loud click sound when it's locked in place. Very good. I'm going to lift this back up. I'm going to replace this plate here, and it just slides in, clamps down. I can release it and snap it in, make sure it's in tight, replace my bobbin, and that's all there is to it. Well, pretty much takes care of it. And we'll put the foot back on and rethread everything, and that'll do it. And this has a little latch that comes down. This has been the Bernina Record 830, and I hope you found the information useful. If you did, click on the thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, If you're not a subscriber, click on subscribe, and you'll be one of my subscribers. If you want to be notified of each new video, click on the bell, and appreciate that too. So until next time, take care. So that looks a lot better.